smelter rise out of the moss. Its chimneys and lights flicker in the smelter window, though there is no electricity for miles. One photographer swears he captured a figure melting since the gold was really century. Old spaghetti factory, Vancouver, British Columbia, in the heart of Vancouver's gas town. The old spaghetti factories, warm and inviting. Then you check site's tire, right through the restaurant. This building once sat directly on a busy street car line, and at its center stands a genuine antique trolley car, R53, permanently parked as part of the dining room. It's said the trolley is more than just a relic. Staff have reported a man dressed in an old conductor's uniform, sitting silently in the sun, hands folded in his lap, when a bird, fading slight smoke, the most unsettling one. His face matching in the mirror's reflection, only for patrons to turn around and find no one there. If the hands are closing, the staff here, the metallic street and wheels on tracks, echoing faintly through the building. Yet no street car has passed this way in over half a century. 5. Gulf of Georgia Cannery, Richmond, British Columbia. Built in 1894, the Gulf of Georgia Cannery was once the meeting heart of Canada's West Coast fishing industry. Inside its wooden walls, the air is thick with the scent of saltwater and sand, the roar of conveyor belts, and the clatter of machinery working day and night. For decades, men and women toiled, dug, packed, and shipping fish across the world. But with the industry's decline, the cannery fell silent in the 1970s, or so people thought. Today, as a museum, the building still hums with a different kind of energy, one that sends shivers down the spine of visitors and staff alike. Guides tell of cold spots that drift across rooms, even on hot summer days. The sound of hoops crunching on wooden floors has been heard in empty hallways. Most unsettling is the ghostly figure of a fisherman, soaked as though breath from the sea, standing in the dim light near the old processing line. His face is blue, his eyes hollow, and he drips water onto the floor again when it broke. There's no trace of moisture at all. Sometimes, the machines themselves seem to come alive. The conveyor belts creak, and the gears turn, and the thin smell of freshly canned salmon fills the air. It's as if the cannery refuses to let go of the countless souls once worked, and perhaps died. Celsius. 6. Canada Cement Company Plant, Lake, Ontario. You stand before the skeletal remains of the Canada Cement Company Plant. Its massive concrete silos, looming like sentinels over Lakeview. Built in the early 1900s, it once roared with machinery and the voices of workers. Silence reigns, except for the occasional whisper, very complicated. Explorers often describe as strange heaviness, as if the air itself tests down. Sometimes you hear the clang of metal tools echoing in falls, long after the last words are left. Others speak of shadowed figures, slip invisible juggling battle of dust, and death in nothing. Perhaps it's the restless spirits of those who labored, bound to the place that belonged to their lives. Or perhaps something far darker, disconnected with the all. Or it walks that forth, just surprised with something else that you walked right behind. 7. Mill of Intake, Mississippi Mills, Ontario. You step onto the creaking of the floorboards of the 200-year-old building. The air feels thick, as if the building itself remembers every life they passed through. One so bright and brilliant, it now stands as a historic site, yet its history is far from silent. Locals with ghost hunts were spending quarters of years devoted, their unexplained white face drifted across the room. Visitors know doors knocking and no one's outside, as if someone unseen hand is gestured to the level on one particularly full night. But they're almost set up their devotion to the room. They hear different knocks, the interrupt, coming from the full grave. When they call them, the knocks answer back, loud. Some say it's the spirit of a fallen hill, bound to the grind of his work for eternity. Others believe it's something far older, something that has claimed the hill as its home, long before the person's jumping to grave. Yes, stand there, the big line, listening to the slow, deliberate creak of the rafters above it. You realize you are not alone. You're safe. 8. Thermal Generating Station, Toronto, Ontario. Opened in 1951, the Thermal Generating Station was once one of the largest coal-fired power plants in Canada, empowering industrial repeal of steel beams, vast turbines, and echoing steam. For decades, it turned out electricity between Toronto's growth demand. Its smokestacks belching fumes into the sky. But inside, the work was cooling, dangerous, scalding stick lines, live electrical systems, and crushing engineering questions. Right decisions about resentment or pressure. What before the rise of the years, one of the most brilliant legends dates back to the early 1970s. For Britain, supposedly vanished during the mid-1950s. The still workers searched the labyrinth in Hemlock engineering. It found no trace except for his hard hat, wrestling with the control panel. In the weeks that followed, operators reported hearing heavy footsteps pacing the upper walkways, followed by the distinct sound of metal tools clanking against railings. Even when no one was there, since its closure in 1983, the massive decaying structure has drawn urban explorers and terrified them. Many claim to hear faint whispers over the wind inside the turbine hall, or spot a robed figure in hard hat, watching from high above. Those dared to shout up at him, saving recent on, as if the wind or melting the shadow. The name of the British company plant was Quebec. Founded in 1886, the Dominion British Company plant was once the beating heart of Canada's steel industry. Massive turbines, great spanners, and railway systems for safety, destined to connect cities and cross vast rivers. The plant of steel, the hiss of welded forges, and the roar of machinery filled the air day and night. But with such colossal work night shift in the 1940s, the workers swore they saw him fall from a steel beam into a vat of molten metal. No body was ever recovered, only an extreme, warped lump of steel that some claimed looked like a man hurled in agony. After the plant closed, the inhabitants faced were trespassers and thrill seekers. They often reported the sounds of grinding metal echoing through empty halls and floated grass that seemed to push them toward the mountains. The most unsettling stories speak of a lone figure in a welding mask, standing motionless on a high beam. Witnesses say the mask tilts ever so slightly, as if blocking them, and when they look away for even a second, he's gone. gone, only the faint smell of working metal left behind. It's near Portland Farm, Alberta. Deep in the boreal wilderness of northern Alberta lies Bitter. The crumbling remains of a once pioneering oil sands extraction plant, built in the 1920s and expanded in the 1940s. It was an ambitious industrial experiment meant to unlock the province's vast bitumen reserves.
So it's not every day you see something go down like this. Today, we're talking about Salabakula, who fights Josh Lebo, a name that fans of the Calgary Flames, Toronto Maple Leafs, Vancouver Canucks, St. Louis Blues, and Carolina Hurricanes might be familiar with. Because Lebo, at one point in his NHL projectable career, was a pretty decent Leafs prospect. Third-round guy, 86th overall by Toronto back in 2011. He's now 32 years old. But Josh Lebo was probably at the peak of his NHL popularity when he was a Vancouver Canuck, scoring 18 points in 49 Vancouver Canucks games after being sent over there from Toronto in 2018-19. He then scored 19 points in 36 games the year after that for the Vancouver Canucks, left the team before their bubble playoffs, and inevitably went over to Calgary.
Hardwood pricing is on now. Ready to pay, because our price on the states our price. Our price.
Why did he play for the Canucks in the 2020 bubble playoffs? Is there something going on over there? Extension with Vancouver. Oh, he was traded. Or no, he signed. That's what it was. He signed a one-year deal with Calgary after not playing in the playoffs in 2020. I honestly don't even remember what happened at that time, but he was on the team. This was the same team that featured the likes of Tyler Toffoli and Tanev and Markstrom, all of whom all left in the offseason as well. There you go, Josh Lebo right there, 12th overall in points. But Lebo, after going over to Calgary, Carolina, and St. Louis, had himself a very, very good stint with Salabakula in the KHL. His most recent season, he scored 80 points and 49 goals in 62 games played. This guy literally went out there and broke the KHL record for goals in a season in a year where he was the #1 point scorer in both goals and assists. And if you go over to all-time seasonal numbers, you'll see that Josh Lebo literally put himself amongst the elite of the elite in KHL history. 49 goals is good enough to pass Sergei Mozyakin in 2016-17 for the KHL's all-time goal record. So, it's very rare to see a guy go out there and score this amount of points in the KHL, and it's even more rare to see a Hockey League's top scorer and good record-setting player get his contract terminated. This is what Patrick Williams tweeted out earlier yesterday morning. Per both Russian KHL journalistic platform Sport Express and Championat in Russia, Josh Lebo's contract at Salabakula had been terminated. No official announcement from the team yet. He was the Calder Cup playoff MVP with the Chicago Wolves in 2022, and he also set a KHL record last season with 49 goals in 62 games played. Now that's actually crazy too, because the KHL playoff leader, oh my gosh, 29 points in 18 Calder Cup playoff games with the Chicago Wolves in 2022. This guy just knows how to put the puck in the back of the net. But this report was super interesting because it's like, wait a minute, this guy goes over to the KHL. He has a record-breaking year. He's the best player in the league. And then his team terminates the contract? What's happening here? Is he coming back? This is what Patrick Williams then further stated. For now, the KHL is putting the brakes on any change to Lebo's contract from RIA Novosti, and linked in an article on rsport.rna.ru that says that the KHL will not allow Levo's contract to be canceled until circumstances are clarified. So initial reports are saying, yeah, no, this contract's getting terminated. Secondary reports are saying, wait a minute, the KHL is not going to allow this to happen. Let's dive into the contract and the write-up over here. The KHL does not intend to cancel the contract of Josh Levo with Ufla Salavatulea until the circumstances are clarified, the league's press source told RIA University. Earlier, the player's agent Ivan Bota told Sport Express that Salavatulea had terminated his contract early due to late arrival at the team's location. It was noted that the 32-year-old forward left the team without compensation. The agent announced his intention to collect 50% of the salary from the club under the terminated agreement. According to the source, Levo's salary under the 2-year contract was $110 million per year. The Salavatulea hockey team has submitted documents to the electronic database of the KHL Central Information Bureau to cancel the contract of forward Josh Levo. The teams will need for additional clarification of the circumstances, including on the part of the hockey player. The league has not changed the player's contractual status in the KHL CIE, the league said. Last year, the KHL themselves are not allowing it to happen. This is what seems to be going down via Patrick Williams on Twitter. From what I can gather, according to the original reporting, Levo was late showing up to training camp. But the reporting goes that his visa had not come through yet, which seems like a pretty legit reason. As a Canadian citizen, a visa is an absolute must to enter Russia. Further replies go on there to say that, hey boy, Patrick ought to say we're back to sleep, but yeah. Please bring Josh Levo home to us. Problem solved for all. Yeah, okay, we're not going to go out there and assume that. Questions only, do you have received an NHL contract? No, it's just some sort of a spoof of this NHL team. So this seems to be the situation here with Josh Levo. The guy's visa didn't come in on time. And honestly, I'm kind of glad here because from how everything seems to have been reported, would you imagine the total crap storm that this team would have gone through if they had announced that their top player had his contract terminated for no verifiable reason? I mean, Salavatulea fan,
you have to hold back. My name's Scott Kern. I'm one of the co-owners of Local Laundry. Local Laundry is a Canadian-made clothing company. We need fast, reliable internet.
Warning. The voices heard in this video are made synthetically, using artificial intelligence. Nothing in this video reflects anything actually stated by the real individuals involved. This is entirely satirical for entertainment purposes, and actual political content is avoided for that reason. Please enjoy.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. With me, I have Donald and Joe, and we'll be playing some Pokemon.
Hell yeah, boys, I can't wait to get this started. I haven't played this game since my WrestleMania days.
What the hell is this? I thought we were next Pokemon. I figured we should just go with Emerald instead. After all, it's a clean upgrade from the original Hulk skin. The improvement of both good and speed makes for a more engaging storyline. The legendary cutscenes are much more badass. And the overall quality of life is better in Emerald than compared to Ruby and Sapphire.
Definitely. Don't even get me started on the Battlefront theater. I remember grinding perfect natures and EV training by slating, Latios, and Registeel so I could get gold symbols in each different facility. That shit took me months, but it was probably the most rewarding feeling I've ever had playing a video game.
Yeah, but who gives a shit if my beloved Zangoose is unattainable in this game? Nothing you can say will convince me that Emerald is better than Ruby. I can't believe you would do this to me, Barat.
Jesus Christ, Joe, you are honestly one of the most disturbing individuals I know. It didn't take but 30 seconds for you to say the most cringe shit I have ever heard about a Pokemon.
Oh, is it cringy, Donald? Is that
Yes, Joe, it's cringe. Just like how every American cringes when you try to give a speech to the nation. I can't believe you're actually trying to get elected.
Can we settle down for a second? I invited you guys to the call so we can have some fun playing Pokemon. I'll get into a roast battle. Can you just help me decide on our character's name, please?
How about the Joe? After all, we're going to be the greatest Pokemon trainers that ever lived after the dungeon. Damn, Joe, that's actually a pretty great stage choice. Maybe Obama has a point we should chill out a little bit since we're just here to have fun. But honestly, Barack, you could have just spelled the GOAT like a normal human being. You had to let out your inner basketball American on this one, didn't you?
Donald shut your racist ass up. I had to spell it this way so it could fit without needing to exclude the space between the words. I just wanted there to be some aesthetic to the name, you know what I mean?
Whatever, Barack, let's just get on with the gameplay. I never quite understood this beginning part.
What do you mean the fact that we're just standing in the back of a moving truck? I didn't see it a little hazardous.
Well, yeah, that. But also the fact that we're here with all of our stuff. Then we get out, but then we never see any of this stuff again. Like there were 20 boxes full of random crap in there, but our house layout never changes throughout the entirety of the game. There you go, that's quite the astute observation. How about I rebuttal with the fact that this is a 40-year-old game originally made on a handheld console, and that you're looking way too into things. Okay, fair enough, Donald. I just thought it was weird.
Speaking of weird, can someone please tell me what the hell these two bigger arms are doing right now? This one is just walking back and forth. Now this one is dry, humping on a TV.
How do you know it's dry, Barack?
Because it's a goddamn television kid. You know what? Never mind, Joe. I'm just going to go ahead and rent the poster from the PC and fix the clock so we can progress the story. By the way, I should go ahead and fix the settings here. I'm going to turn on set mode to add a challenge and also fix the border to do something cool. I would like this one in particular.
Sounds good, Barack, and holy shit, we have a game here. We better have melee on this thing. I've been grinding and slipping, and I'm almost out of goals finally. Well, now, Donald, you're not getting out of goals. You are the epitome of an average slippy softball player. Remember when I three-stocked you last week in like 60 seconds? Suck my ass, Joe. First off, it was my sick, multi-shining, lead-canceling softball on Final Destination versus your champion, chain-grabbing Mark, who you only play, by the way, down his catatonic hands can't handle the complexity of the space hammer. All you did was wait by the edge and shield grab me and back throw me and get there with me. Whatever skill I move with this, I would easily destroy you with a Mark ditto.
Did either of you play any ball? You know what? I've been working on my memory. I've really seen some improvement over the last few months. I'd like to try to do some. Guys?
That was a fucking joke, right, Barack? You know, we're not playing ball with you. Please pick a different character if you're going to actually stick with ball for some reason. Otherwise, no one will ever play with you.
Okay, well, let's screw you guys ball. It's a fun game. Anyway, I'm just fucking around the page room here, but more importantly, it's about time we decide on our start. Personally, I'm leaning towards the Trico line. If we were nuzlocking this, I would pick Mudkip, but we're not, and he is incredibly overused. And normally I'd like to pick the fire starter, but this time I want to change it up. What are you guys thinking?
Honestly, I'm impartial here. I think the Williams starter is always critically badass. We got the original firefighting type in Lazy Ken, then the most overpowered starter ever was Stomper. And finally, Trico was fucking sick in the end. And also, there's like no good grass types in the generation besides Minnesota. Okay, well, you guys are clearly mentally insane, so I expect that from you, but honestly, Brock, I'm surprised in this rotation. Trico is easily the only non-viable choice here. Walker sweeps the whole game, and Blackskin provides incredible coverage with his two staff. Trico is literally only good in the late game by his point in the line.
Donald, I picked the Trico. Trico provides us with a safe victory against the first gym, unlike Fortune. And then it will be our heaviest hitter for the late game from the seventh gym all the way to the champion battle. Also, Joe has a point with no other good grass types in this game besides maybe like Bellows and the Braves. Sceptile is very fast and gets leaf blade, which has one of the coolest animations of Generation 3 Pokemon.
Yo.
Okay, fine. You guys make some compelling points. I guess I can get behind the reasoning. I agree that Generation 3 did not miss with the starter selection, unlike its predecessor, Generation 2, which missed completely. That gym is ass.
Thanks for cooperating, John. And real quick, guys, I have an idea for the next.
Yeah, I see that.
Did you guys ever play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers in Sky?
Oh, hell yeah, Walker's Fitness. That game is one of the best spin-off games Pokemon ever made. And if you're referencing the Emperor, totally cool with bringing it out.
Okay, cool. I think I'm just going to go to Sky then to keep it simple and elegant. Yeah, we just
Find one. Let me see, is that Donald outside the lab? Good one, show, very good.
well doing. Great base mix, but honestly, Donald, yes, I have some team ideas. But first, I want to state how there is something I wanted to do with this run. Obviously, we aren't doing a Nuzlocke because I don't want to deal with the copious amount of grinding and planning that comes with that. But there are going to be some challenges we should put on ourselves. I already switched the settings to set mode. And I also think we should play without healing in battle while also trying not to overrun it too much. At least purposely. Finally, we should organize a core team of 6 to bring the battle with us for consistency purposes.
Wow, Barack, you really sound like you know what you're talking about for someone who just tried to run off to the left without fighting May 1st.
Hop off, Donald. It's been a while since I played through this generation.
You guys remind me of the nature league again. I don't remember the nature of it all once.
Timid is plus speed and minus attack. Honestly, not good or bad in my opinion, because Sapphire doesn't need any more speed than it already has. And we won't be touching any physical attacks after like this episode.
Oh, okay, thanks for that. How are you so familiar with the nature that I never really cared about them?
Well, they aren't too important for in-game purposes, but I like to dabble on Pokemon Showdown a little bit. I'd also like to watch some of those Showdown YouTubers like Pokemon, Blunder, and make it like chicken and everything like that. Impact's Pokemon Jeopardy could be fun to watch as well. I mainly just play random battles, but building teams to test on the ladder could be fun, and eventually you can start to recognize what different natures do. Today is a pretty common one for special sweepers like Alakazam or Gengar.
Okay, Obama, we get it. You're a complete nerd and possibly a virgin. Can we go back to talking about our potential team, please? I think we should try to use a team composed of entirely Generation 3 Pokemon, not just because there are some pretty sick ones introduced here, but also because it will give a true sense of unity to our team. It also adds a little bit of a challenge, since we can't just sweep through Watson with a Geodude or pick up an early Gyarados to trivialize the rest of the game.
Okay, honestly, Doyle, since we started talking about how this month is going to play out, I'm getting really excited about it. Just one thing though, who the fuck is Watson?
Oh, Jesus, Joe, I really hope it won't be your turn to play by the time you have to take on Watson. He's one of the hardest gym leaders in the game, especially since we decided on Trico. Combustion and Mind Pump can deal with him with ease, but rely on him to do too much despite being a resistance to electric.
Oh, wow. And whose fucking call is that? That's right, the goddamn Democrats under the call with it. You two make these moronic left-leaning decisions so much that you couldn't help but pick the Pokemon ball on the left that just so happens to have Trico in it. I think I figured it out.
Donald, I assure you, you could not be all wrong in analyzing our decision-making process. Besides, that's not important right now at all. We have our first rival fight now. I got us up to level 6 as some insurance, especially because we do have an attack-lowering nature, and that's considered a disadvantage here.
My goodness, guys, I just got to say something.
Hey, look, you're weird as fuck. I know what you're thinking, but you better not
What
say
are you
it.
guys talking about?
Hey,
You're talking.
hi, Pokey Girl, here's the fucking joke. I'm sorry to have to describe it. Those tight shirts around those legs.
Joe, she's
Apparently has a bantering demeanor. I mean, how could you not fall for her, guys? I know you see it too. Joe, you are literally the president of the United fucking States. You cannot be saying shit like that on the internet. I heard you just sniffed your screen a second ago. Please get help.
Yeah, Joe, I know you have a history with this sort of thing, but I really prefer if you did your best to not bring it to the place we're here.
Sorry, but I just can't help it sometimes. But man, it doesn't feel good to see how impressed she is with us. I hope she remembers this battle for the rest of her life, because I know I will.
Ron, I'm just going to do my best to ignore Joe when this sort of thing comes up. Joe, I just hope you don't bust a nut every time we see May, because that's going to happen like 15 more times throughout this playthrough.
Every time I down, oh my God, there she is again. Yes, of course, I will follow you and forgive you.
Jesus Christ, okay, guys, we're changing the subject. Donald, back to what you were saying earlier about your team. I am totally cool with that whole native Pokemon thing. I think that's a cool idea that can give our team members some sort of unity. Do you guys want to plan out the team in advance or just kind of wing it? I'm cool either way, but personally, I think keeping things as a surprise to our viewers could be kind of fun for them.
Glad to see you're on board with that. The same. Honestly, all of these super early game encounters kind of licked us. So I'm not too concerned about it this episode. That being said, I do have a Pokemon I want to pick up that will come up in an episode or two, so I'll make sure to point it out when we get there.
That's honestly perfect. I have a Pokemon in mind that is early game as well. So I'll do the same and just make sure we pick it up when we can.
Okay, so we can do that then. We can each choose one early game encounter, and then that will leave just 2 Pokemon left that we need to add. Hopefully we can agree on doing today based on how our team is looking after we get all of our early game encounters. For now, we need to make our way to the next town, but to do so, we're going to have to fight some predators on the way.
Thank God we finally have a running shoe. I always hated how long it takes to get them in the Generation 3 games, especially Fire Red and Leaf 3. You literally have to beat the first gym after playing for like an hour before they give it to you there.
Big facts there, Donald. The later generations just give them to you off the start. But in this game, they treat as if you physically cannot run without this second pair of shoes. It honestly always kind of baffles me. You never see anyone else running in these games besides the professor at the very beginning. So it makes me wonder if these shoes are like some sort of prized rarity.
You guys stop talking about shoes, please. It's making me think it's feet. It makes me think of Maze feet.
Fucking hell, Joe.
Oh, it gets me bricked up.
Joe, you are an abomination to your race. Do you even realize what the hell you are saying right now? Besides, there's no way your senile ass can even get bricked up.
Try your best.
Honestly, how do you even come up with the things that come out of your mouth?
Okay, that is tough. Yeah. Donald has a point in that you need to get your ass to therapy because the United States does not need its president to have a foot fetish for adolescents today. That being said, Donald, you are freaking outbursting at everything Joe says. You really need to control your temper